It's my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. So subscribe and hit the bell icon right now. So as you can see, I'm very sweaty, my hair's wet, but I feel so good because I went out for the first time tonight, actually out, and did some dancing, and it was so good. So you know, if you watch this channel, that dancing is a huge part of my soul, and it's been horrible to not be able to dance since April because I've had a respiratory infection that's been going on for ages. And I didn't know I was going to go clubbing tonight. And so I went out with some people from meetup.com. So I had my asexuality interview by Blue Talks, and that went really well. Although my camera wasn't on because with my MacBook Pro that I bought last year, even though I looked at the settings and tried to change the settings, it wouldn't let me, it wouldn't come up with the option to accept my camera for StreamYard, which is a program they were using to do the interview. So I had to quickly put a picture up on my name. So I was just voice. It would accept my audio, which was good because I changed the settings to accept my audio. But for some reason there was no setting to change the video. So that was a bit of a nightmare. I couldn't use a video, but I still did a good job anyway. I still had a great interview. So that went really well. I've been working so hard on my media press pack that I finished now, finally. And so that took me ages to do. So I thought as I did the interview today, which went really well, it's great for asexuality to spread more awareness as well. And as I've been doing the press media pack, I've been working really hard indoors a lot of the time when I'm an extrovert and like to go outdoors. I decided, because there was a meetup.com group and it started at 7, but I didn't get there till nearly 7:30. I decided to go for that because I thought I deserve it. I deserve to go out. I deserve to have fun. So what happened is I went with them and I needed to eat anyway. So I bought some food, and that was at George's Meeting House in Exeter in the UK. And then from that, we then went to the Ship. Now, for me, the Ship's a bit old, yeah. It plays old music. They've got karaoke on at the Ship. I don't do karaoke. I do some dancing, so I did a bit, but it's very old. I did meet 2 Indian guys at the Ship Inn. That was like really interesting. They were like older guys though. So I chatted to them for a bit, and then they went off. And I did have a nice time, but not as nice as I would usually do clubbing because I'm really young and I need to go clubbing. Like, listening to 80s song is not really my thing these days. They're nice, I like some of them, but it's like a bit boring because it's a bit old for me, right? But I preferred it to going to the other place I usually go to with band, in the sense that you either have to be with band or outside usually, and I can't be outside because it affects my chest with the smoke. So it was nice to actually know some of the songs, and it was nice to actually do some dancing in there, but it is more old fashioned, and I'm really young, as you know. So anyway, I still had a nice time there because I thought it was different, doing something different. There was one guy, and he was really good at singing, particularly. And it was nice to be out, just around people because I'm an extrovert and I've really missed that over these months, actually being around people. And so those people from the meetup.com group that watch this channel, hello to them. And they're like, oh, you're on the BBC radio. I'm like, yeah. I said it was a while ago, but I put it on my channel. Like, it's only just gone on your channel. Secret watchers, hello to you. And so yeah, I'm like, yes, I was on the BBC radio. And they were like saying, and they were saying at the meetup, there's no one that's your type, because I like younger foreign guys, as you know, on this channel. And so they were saying, oh, there's no guys at the meetup, which there wasn't really. There's one younger guy who I think's a bit foreign, but he's not interested in me at all. He doesn't talk to me. I think he knows I like younger foreign guys. He's like, I'm not interested in you, so he doesn't talk to me usually, but that's fine. I'm cool with that. I'd rather guys and people be like straight out up front about this type of thing, so I don't waste my time, But there's still other guys there for me to talk to. And one guy I used to work with years ago, so he was being quite nice to me actually. He was like sat opposite me and like looked after my bag when I was at the toilet and things like that, so it was nice. And then they decided to go to Revolution. Now, Revolution, I got my cross, usually have to pay for, but one of the people managed to get him free another time, so they managed to get us him free, which is not normal. So I don't even know if I should be saying this. But anyway, they talked to the guy they talked to before, who they've known before, and we got on free. Now, Revolution is a place I've been to for Bollywood dancing, amazing. And it's my second favourite club. My first is Timepiece, and I absolutely love going there. So I went there, and it was really good because I had like a young girl dancing with me for a while, and she asked me how old I was, and I said, oh, I'm not interested in talking about my age. I think like I'm 21. My mindset's 21, so just think of me like 21. And she's like, oh, you're an absolute effing legend. You're such a legend. Because she loved my dancing. So that felt really, really good. So although I went out with the meetup.com group and we all went out dancing to Revolution, I kind of danced on my own a lot of the time. I feel a bit better dancing on my own in a big group unless I'm dancing with a guy I really like, you know. So I went with a group, but I was kind of dancing at the front as well. I like dancing near the DJ. It's really nice. And so I did some really good dancing. And so that was good. But when I was dancing, all of a sudden there was these two foreign guys that came on the dance floor, right? And one of the guys from meetup.com was dancing with them, actually. But I didn't know if they were heterosexual, these guys, or bisexual, or what they were. But I noticed there was two, they both looked nice, these two foreign guys. But there was one guy that really looked like my ideal look, right? So I ended up dancing near them. And then this guy, the guy I really liked the look of, started like dancing with me close, holding my hand. Then he ended up kissing me, which was really nice because I saw him across the dance floor and I didn't say anything. But I thought, I wouldn't mind kissing you. You're my ideal look. I didn't tell him. I told him later that he's my ideal look. I didn't tell him I saw him across the dance floor. He might have seen me across the dance floor anyway. But like as soon as he got close to me, like even remotely close near dancing, then he was like kind of like really into me. So so we did some kissing on the dance floor, which I really love because I love kissing in public. And he's my ideal type. It's like 22, a student, and like had short dark hair and clean shaven. Really, really nice. He was actually muscly, which I never used to be into muscles, and I still like skinny guys, but I've kind of got used to muscles now because a lot of the guys I end up liking go to the gym. So I've got more used to muscles, which is kind of interesting for me, isn't it? And so anyway, so in the club on the dance floor, I really enjoyed the kissing because I'm a hyper romantic and hyper kisser, which is very different to most asexuals. So I love loads of kissing. Like I can't get enough of it. And I'm a hyper romantic. So to be able to have a guy holding my hand, twirling me around, dancing closer to me, arms around my back, me putting my fingers through his hair, and the fact he was pretty much clean shaven. He had a tiny little bit of stubble that you could just about feel a little bit. And his hair was absolutely gorgeous. It was like Indian hair. And he looked really nice, and he was my ideal type, you know, aesthetically in the face, because as an asexual person, I get attracted to guys' face, not below the waist. I couldn't care less what's below his waist, to be quite honest with you. But he was really good looking, like my ideal aesthetic type. Like obviously it's difficult for me because as a hyper romantic, I can get attached to guys somewhat easily sometimes. I'm trying not to do that, but it is really difficult. And so yeah, but it was nice because later he sat down with me and was actually talking to me. And then I, in that conversation I had with him, told him I'm asexual. And so he had never heard of it before. And he's like, what's that? Is it natural? Because he was like, oh, is there something they can prescribe you for it? First of all, as asexuals, you know, we hate this type of thing. And I was like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's natural. Like some people are meant to be that way. Like I was born it, but I didn't realize it. It's like, oh, you're born that way. It's like it's natural for some people. I'm like, yeah, it's natural. Like 1 in every 100 people you meet is asexual. And I showed him on Google. I Googled it, but then I showed him my channel. He has to subscribe to this. Hello to him. And so I thought that was nice. But I like the fact he took the time to ask me about asexuality. I mean, he said he's not interested in sex, but clearly he was. He is a very sexual guy. And it's really interesting because obviously I have sexual behaviour with the way I like to kiss and dance, but I don't have any desire for sex. And he was quite surprised I didn't like sex. And he's like, oh, I don't like sex either. And I'm like, of course you do. It's obvious you do. Do you know what I mean? It's so obvious. So when I'm enjoying the kissing, he's enjoying kissing, but obviously because our bodies are quite close together, pressed together, if you like, on that area, then he's more, for him, it's more of a sexual thrill, as well as some kissing. Whereas for me, it's all to do with kissing and aesthetic attraction. And I just love kissing. I could carry on kissing. So I was really happy that he did lots of kissing with me on the dance floor. I was a bit disappointed later on. I found out that he prefers kissing like in quiet places or private, I think. Or he's okay in public, but as long as it's a quiet place. And I'm like, you know what I'm like? Like, if, for example, I was to get into a relationship with a guy, that wouldn't be enough for me because I need public kissing. Like, you know, like I love kissing anywhere and everywhere, like wherever I am. And so I wished that he continued the amount of kissing he was doing on the dance floor. I wish he continued that further on after we left the club. So he happens to live near me, which is really nice but strange. And when we went out of the club, he held my hand down the stairs, but he stopped holding my hand when we came out. I observed that, which was disappointing. And he didn't carry on kissing me in the street. He asked me if there was anything else he could do for me, because he asked me back to his home, which I do not go in guys' homes, especially not ones I've just met, you know. And I said, I'm not interested in sex. He said, well, you can just go kissing, but it's like I want to kiss outside, not in indoors. Do you know what I mean? And so I did say, oh, you could give me a kiss goodnight, but it was little tiny kiss, and I'm thinking, what? Do you know what I mean? I love holding. If he'd have like held my hand in public and he'd done the really big kissing outside, it would have been so much better. But I'm like, I was a bit disappointed he didn't do that, but I was happy he was talking to me about asexuality because he actually took an interest. And he did, when he sat down, he did ask me like what I do. And I told him I'm a YouTuber and I'm an author. And I told him I'm studying with Blue Talks, and he really liked all that stuff about me. So he did try to get to know me as a person. He got my phone number, which was nice. He was on about meeting up again to like do some dancing or go out together, which I think is great. But obviously, if I was dating him, which I presume that's the type of thing he means, then I want to be kissing him in public, not just in private, because that's not going to work for me. And obviously there's then the differences, isn't there? So he's Pakistani, 22 student, and he's my ideal look and type. And I just felt really comfortable around him physically the majority of the time. I was telling him I do not like to be touched in sexual places. And I told him this is a sexual place. He's like, it's not. I'm like, it is. And he was like trying to put his hands on it. I'm like, don't do that ever again. And he's like, I'm just showing you. I'm like, I don't need your hands on me to show me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I said, if you want me to touch you on your chest, I'm fine with doing that, but I do not want to be touched on my chest or down below, you know, because that's a sexual place. He's like, oh, it's not. I said, of course it is. I'm a woman. Of course that's a sexual place. So yeah, and when we went out, he's like, oh, you're loud. You know, it's like, I said, yeah, I am loud. I'm not going to change for you or any guy. Do you know what I mean? And so that was a little bit disappointing that he was like not liking the fact I'm loud. And also he said, you're sweaty. I was like, of course I'm sweaty. Like, I've been in dancing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would rather live life to the max, be full of sweat and loud and bubbly than just a quiet, boring person who doesn't even break a sweat out because they're not even dancing properly. Do you know what I mean? I dance really high octane energy dancing. Like I said, I was dancing even with a girl earlier. She was a younger girl. And it was really nice. She was really into dancing with me, but not in a sexual way, which is good because obviously I get women attracted to me as well. But that was really nice. She took a picture with me and her two female friends, so all four of us together. She wanted to have a picture with me, so that was really, really nice. And I liked that, you know? So that was all really good. But as a hyper romantic and hyper kisser, like the guy I was kissing, I just wanted to kiss him more, you know, because I'm a hyper kisser. And for me, it's like, okay, you've come out the club now. Where's all my kissing now? I want more kissing. So that's what I get the urge for kissing. Like, as an asexual hyper romantic and hyper kisser, I get the urge for kissing, but I do not get the urge for sex. And so that's what's really difficult as well, because if a guy fulfills a sexual need, for him, like the kissing's not so important usually because the kissing leads on to a sexual need that needs to be fulfilled. And when that sexual need's fulfilled, even if it's just in the underwear, which I know is very, very, very outspoken, isn't it? Even if it's just in their underwear, then they don't really need to kiss so much anymore. Whereas I love the kissing. My excitement in that scenario is kissing. And so I just really love kissing. And obviously, as a romantic person, I am romantically attracted to him as well as aesthetically attracted to him. Obviously, it poses difficulties because I can tell with the way he is when he came outside of the club that in terms of compatibility, there's issues there already. Like, one, he doesn't hold my hand when he comes out the club. Two, I had to ask him for a kiss goodnight, which is not good when a woman has to do that, or girl. And three, he was said about me being loud. And four, he said about me sweating. It's like, sweat is a natural thing, right? If you are going to be kissing someone, right, just imagine if he had sex. Does he not realize how sweaty sex is? If he thinks this is sweaty and he tries sex, then he's going to be like, oh yeah. And if he's scared of a bit of sweat, I would say actually to him, do not try sex, because it is more sticky and more sweaty than kissing usually. Do you know what I mean? Unless you're just going to be a stick it in guy, which a woman's going to get so bored with that. Like, a guy who's good at sex, I'm not interested in sex myself, but a guy who's good at sex does not do stick it in sex. A guy who's crap at sex does stick it in sex. It's like, if you're going to do it, at least do it properly. Do you know what I mean? Not stick it in. So boring. But, you know, I love the kissing. And I was talking about this on the asexuality video, you know, the interview I had, that I really love all the kissing, which is very unusual for an asexual. Like, I can kiss for up to 3 hours and never get bored, which is quite unusual for anyone in the whole world. Let alone an asexual. Most asexuals don't kiss that much, you know. But for me, actually on the dance floor, kissing him, having that time with him is really nice. I really loved it. He's got beautiful hair, gorgeous face, and he is my ideal type of look. So it would have been nice if he'd mentioned my looks more. I mean, I don't have to have that, because I get lots of other guys telling me I look beautiful. But I think if you're dancing with a guy and he's kissing you a lot and he's quite into you, I think it's nice if they say, you know, I think you're beautiful guy. He said he likes my nose. So he said he likes something of mine. I'm like thinking, just my nose? Really? Okay. But he was asking me what I think of his face, and I said, I'm actually really attracted to your face. It's the ideal look. Because I like clean shaven guys. I'm not interested in a guy with beards. You know what I mean? Facial hair, I don't like it. And he was asking me about women. I'm thinking, I don't give a shit what other women think. It's not important, is it? Unless you want another woman, which he probably does, because obviously he's just met me. He probably is interested in lots of different women, but you know what I mean? It's like, why do I care what other women want? Do you know what I mean? If you care what other women want, then just go and ask them. If you're interested in them, why are you even bothering with me? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so there is some really good stuff about him. Like I said, I love the fact that he did like kissing me. When he puts his arms around my back, it's really nice. I was instantly attracted to him. I felt physically comfortable enough to kiss him and be physically close, as in bodies closely pushing against each other. I felt quite comfortable, sexy dancing with him, but I was wary of where his hands were going. And I did like the fact that he was getting to know me a bit as a person, which was nice. He asked for my number, which was good. I like the guy asking me. I don't want to be asking for a guy's number. And I was trying to explain to him that if I meet up with him, I like to do that in advance. It's important that he says to me where he wants to go in advance, and then I do, you know, like I agree to that. Like, I don't just like a guy going, oh, you free like now, in really. Like, I like to book it in advance because I've got lots of work I need to do. And it's better for me if a guy is taking the trouble and time to actually make time for me and be there when he says he's going to be there. Be reliable and consistent and persistent. Do you know what I mean? Because anyone can say, well, let's just do something now if they've got nothing on. But to actually take time out to say, no, this is the time I want to spend with you, and I'm not going to be seeing other people while I'm seeing you. I thought it was, you know, that's more important, that type of attitude. I like the fact that he had his phone with me and he had like a message from a female friend. And I like the fact that he wasn't bothered that I saw his phone, because usually if a guy's hiding other women and stuff, they're not like that. They usually hide their phone, but he was like open with his phone. He had his phone in front of me and he was messaging a friend. I did say, because he asked me if I was married, and I said, no, I'm single. And I said, like, are you married? He was like, no. And then I sat down with him. I said, are you single then, or got, you know, girlfriend? I said, because I know there was a girl messaging you. And he's like, oh, this is just my friend. She did put a kiss on there and said she was in a club, but I know some friends do that. So yeah, but he was fine with me seeing that, you know. So I thought that was nice of him. I really appreciate that about him. you know. So there was some really good stuff with him. But again, like, it's different culture where, you know, these guys, they're not used to, like, how can I put it? They're not used to a woman being so natural with them. They're used to women doing what they're told, really, in their country a lot of the time, if you know what I mean, and acting a certain way and being a certain thing. And I will never be a conformist, as you know. Like, I am loud, bubbly, energetic, and I want to be around guys, and a guy who really likes that about my personality, who wants to spend time with a loud, bubbly, energetic girl, because it's like, my God, she's not boring. I want to be with this type of person. But when he's like, oh, quieten down a bit because you're like loud in the street. I'm like, yeah, I am loud. I'm not going to change for you or anyone, any guy. Of course I'm not. Do you know what I mean? I'm not. I don't live by someone else's rules. If a guy's not interested in me being myself, then he's not really interested in me. Do you know what I'm saying? So I have to see how things go with him. But I did seem to get on well with him overall. But I do, you know what I mean? I did say to him, like, I'll be loud because I am loud. I was really disappointed he didn't give me a good snog before I left. That would have been really nice, you know? It seems guys are, like, really romantic and kissing in a club. And then when they go out of that atmosphere, it's like they're very different. But the last guy I actually had a date with was Pakistani, if you remember, and he was kissing me. He wasn't afraid to kiss me at all. He was snogging me in the park in front of people. He was kissing me in the street going to the cinema, kissing me in the cinema. He wasn't scared of any of that. So I really liked that about the last guy I dated. But the last guy I dated wasn't suitable for me, obviously, because he, in the end, decided he didn't want to be with an asexual guy because of what his parents might think and family. Which was a shame and really sad, because there are people in Pakistan that are asexual. There's someone who runs a Pakistani asexual group. So there are Pakistani females and Pakistani males that are asexual. You know, it's nothing to be ashamed of. In fact, it's a really good thing. And I watched a movie, and the movie said that in Pakistan, after they get married, I'm not interested in marriage either, which he probably is the type of marriage guy, I'm guessing. But I haven't asked him that. But, you know, like, they say that after they get married, then they don't have sex. Hardly ever have any sex. Sounds good to me. But not the marriage bit. So yeah, I did have a really nice time with him. But I would, like, as a hyper romantic and hyper kisser, it's like, I want more kissing. A lot more kissing. Like, the amount of kissing on the dance floor was really good initially. That was amazing. I really loved that. And it was nice to just put my hands through his hair and stuff. And it was really good, because it was really ironic that earlier on in the evening, they were saying at the meetup, well, there's no guys here for you, Sandra. And then I actually met one at the club they went to. I don't care that the people from the meetup see me snogging a younger foreign guy, because they know, well, the people who watch this channel know I like that type of guy. And it's like, good for me. I haven't been out for months dancing. Really good for me to dance. I didn't end up doing much dancing with him in the end because I was more kissing him, and he wanted to go a bit earlier than when the last song finished, which is a bit annoying because I love staying on to the very, very end. But as he lived near me, it was actually safer for me to go with him, because we walked some of the same way, and I just had to go right and he had to go left. And so that was a lot easier for me, because it's like, I don't really like walking back on my own late at night, because it's like gone 2 a.m. So it was actually advantageous for me to go out. But I do like being till the end. But he said his mate was waiting for him. So, but, you know, I really just wanted to stay till the end. He's like, oh, there's not many people on the floor. And he didn't kiss me as much when there wasn't many people on the floor, because I think he gets self-conscious about what people think. I don't give a shit what people think. I couldn't care less. I was the only person on the dance floor snogging him. It doesn't bother me. I'm not interested in what other people's opinions are and what other people's thoughts are. I'm living the moment. I could die tomorrow. He could die tomorrow. Anyone could die. If you're not living in the moment and living your life the way you want to, then you're missing out. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to miss out on life. You know what I mean? So in terms of an actual relationship, you know, obviously he's not, as far as I know, looking for that. I don't know what he's looking for. But so I haven't clarified that. But I'm just seeing how things go with him. But I did notice, I thought, you're not going to be suitable if you wanted a relationship with me. You wouldn't be suitable at this point in time anyway, because if you're not going to hold my hand in public and kiss me in public a lot, then it wouldn't work for me. I did tell him that I had an ex, and when I was with my ex, we were kissing, cuddling the whole time. We were kissing in supermarkets, theme parks, zoos, aquariums, out, and that's the type of relationship I like that, you know? Because I think it's really important he knows that. And so he knows that I wouldn't get into a relationship with someone who's not prepared to do that stuff, you know, because it's like depriving me. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so there's a lot of nice things about him, but there's some things that were a little bit disappointing, not in terms of his looks or the fact he talked to me and stuff, but it was the fact I didn't get enough kissing in the end, and he wasn't so good in afterwards the club public displays of affection. Like, he held my hand till we went down the stairs, then he stopped holding my hand when we went out the club. And I'm, as a romantic person, I'm like, you're not holding my hand. It would have been so much more romantic if he'd have just took my hand up there and be loud and proud with it and bold. But no, instead we're walking like we're just talking like mates or something, if you know what I mean. With a romantic element, though, because he's asking me about his looks. But it's like, you know, I mean, there wasn't anyone in the streets very much. There was some people coming out of a taxi, like Indian guys. It was really weird because when he was on the corner talking to me, there was an Indian guy behind him that was looking at me. And I think he must have recognised me from a previous Bollywood event, but it was just so strange. He was literally behind the guy, and he was really bearded, and he was looking at me. And I'm thinking, why are you looking at me when I'm talking to a Pakistani guy? And I'm thinking, do you fancy me or something? Because it's like, why are you paying me attention? I didn't get that. I think he was looking at me because there was some guys that got out of a taxi, and they were all Indian as far as I know. And then he walked around the corner, but I don't think his Indian friends were there. So I think he was looking at me, and I'm thinking, why are you doing that? It's very weird. It's almost like he was saying, why are you with a Pakistani guy? Well, I like Pakistani guys as well as Indian, but you know, as we know, unfortunately, the culture is very different to British, and they have to understand that I am never going to be a conformist. I'm never going to be like a typical little housewifey girly type thing like that. I'm loud and proud and bubbly, you know? And it's like, and of course I'm going to be sweating. Do you know what I mean? But really, honestly, if he doesn't like sweat that much, which is natural, then it's kind of like if he ever does try sex, it's gonna be like, do you not understand how messy and sticky that is? You know? But he was saying to me, he was saying to me, so kissing's not sexual. I'm like, well, no. I don't think kissing, it can be sexual in behaviour with the way I like to kiss, but it's not sexual as in I have no sexual intention for it, and I just like the mouth action, if you know what I mean. It's a nice kiss. I could have kissed him a lot more though. But yeah, but I thought it was good that he took the time out to I googled asexuality because it was quite hard to talk to him, so to show him, and then I showed him my channel. And then he like said he'd studied some stuff, but he'd never actually like studied asexuality. And he was asking me like, how old was I before I knew I'm asexual? I said I'm not interested in talking about my birth certificate age, but I was 2014 when I found out I'm asexual. I mean, that was quite a long time ago, right? We're in 2023 now. So like I've known for 9 years, is it now? From 2014 to 2023, and it was March 2014. So yeah, 9 years I've known I'm asexual. And he's like, oh, do you like being asexual? I'm like, yeah, I love being asexual. I really enjoy being asexual and sex-free. It's really nice. And I said that I can experience romantic attraction, aesthetic attraction. I was going to tell him that I can, you know, I said something about I can experience love and stuff like that. But I don't get the urge for sex. Like, I'm not wired that way. So I was telling him about that. But it was nice. He really praised me as well. He says, oh, thanks for all the work, like the work you're doing, you know, your hard work making videos and putting stuff out into the world. And he really liked that about me. So I thought that was good. And he really liked the fact that I was doing a lot of work, like with my writing and the YouTubing and stuff. So I felt really proud like that. I thought that was a really nice thing that he was very supportive of the work I do. It took him a while to like get to grips with that asexuality, because he was like, he thought it was like a disorder or something. I'm like, no, it's not. I'm naturally like that. And so yeah, So it took him a while to understand it, but then he was getting it. And yeah, and he was like praising me for all the work I do. And I thought that was really nice, because I do like, one of my love languages is words of affirmation, which is praise, which is why I do like it if a guy says I look beautiful. Like I've got like the other day I had like 8 guys, like 7 on Facebook dating and 1 on Badoo. And like the one on Badoo, he was 19 and then just had his 20th birthday, and he was like, "Oh, you're very beautiful," you know. And I like it when guys tell me I'm beautiful. Like, it's lovely. I mean, who wouldn't like that? I know some asexuals don't, because they don't like attention, but I love being told I'm beautiful and stuff like that, right? Because it's just nice, I think. And I don't care if a guy's sexually attracted to me, as long as he doesn't actually have sex with me. I don't care if a guy finds me hot and sexy, even though I don't want sex, because to me it's a compliment. I know loads of asexuals wouldn't agree, but it's just a compliment that they find me that attractive. But it's, I like it when I get told on dating sites how attractive I am, how beautiful I am, you know. I've been told it quite a lot, and it's good. But I think if the guy you're with is not telling you that, then that's not a good sign. Because, do these guys not realize that I get lots of guys saying this stuff to me? And in the end, you're going to want to be with someone who's going to actually make you feel so good about yourself that you're going to love spending time with them more and more, because they're going to tell you how beautiful you are. I mean, I've got a best friend, and even though we're not in a relationship, he still tells me I look beautiful and stuff like that. You know what I mean? He still says I'm an attractive person. So, and even people do on this channel, So, I think it would have been nicer if he'd said more stuff about my looks. But I mean, obviously he was really attracted to me, but very sexually attracted to me. But if he wasn't interested in me as a person, then he wouldn't have stopped to talk to me and spent some time talking to me and stuff, and asked me out again, basically. But I'll wait to see if he texts me, to see if that happens first. I won't get my hopes up. But also, he doesn't need to know that. I did tell him I like kissing in public, because he was like about going back to his place, and I said no, I like kissing in public. So I specifically told him about that. But obviously, if I get guys who actually want to date me with a view to having a relationship, and he ends up not wanting a relationship, then of course I'm gonna have to date other guys, you know what I mean, and end up with another guy. But I just like the experience with him overall. Like I said, there was some disappointment when I came out the club, because I thought I would have really loved it if he'd have just took my hand, and if he'd have been kissing me down the street, that would have been really, really nice. But then on the other hand, you could say that it was nice that he wasn't just physical with me, because he was a lot more talkative and asking me questions about asexuality and attraction, and to him, for example, and stuff like that. So, but I need a guy who's like loud and proud to be with me, and to be seen with me in front of his friends and stuff like that, and holding my hand and kissing me in front of his friends and stuff. He did have a friend there that he was doing that with in front of. Like, I felt a little bit sorry for his friend, because I thought he's dancing with me now, and his friend didn't get to dance with him anymore. So I did shake his friend's hand, but his friend seemed to be understanding, which was nice. So yeah, but this guy's my ideal look. So it was nice to actually meet a guy who's my ideal aesthetic look, because I can't stand beards. I hate it. He did say when we meet next, I have to make sure I'm shaved for you, basically, which was really nice of him. I like kissing a guy who's shaved, not got stubble, because it hurts my delicate skin. I could feel he had a little tiny bit of stubble, but not much. But he is a really nice looking guy. And he's intelligent as well. He's been studying law, but he's finished. He's pretty much finished, but he wants to stay and get a job here. So I don't know how much longer he'll be in the country, if he will get a job. But it's really interesting that he literally lives up the road from me. Like, he lives that way, and I live that way. He lives that way, and I live that way. So it's literally really near each other, which you could say is very good for kissing. But it's like, I want to be kissing in public, not just in private. You know what I mean? I do not want to go to a guy's home that I can't trust when I've just met him and I don't know him, And also, the more intimate you are with someone, the more obviously you'll be attracted to them, and the more attached you'll get. So I've got to bear that in mind. That I still need to be open to other guys. I still need to be on dating groups and stuff, because he hasn't given me any commitment or promise or anything. He just said about me up, which is fair enough, because I've only just met him, And like I said, in terms of actually what I'm looking for in terms of relationship, I need snogging in public and lots of it, and holding hands and all that type of thing, because otherwise I feel like deprived, like I'm having a lacking type of connection, if you know what I mean. And kissing, I love like a hobby, so I need to make sure I find a guy who likes kissing as much as I do, like a favourite hobby. Because when you have hobby together like that you love sharing so much, it's just going to be amazing and wonderful and exciting. So yeah, it's just going to be incredible, because kissing is awesome, but it's difficult for me because as an asexual person, someone who doesn't want sex because I'm sex repulsed, my intimacy is kissing. So even if I was in a serious committed relationship, I would want lots of kissing. But kissing for a female particularly is very emotional. It does make you attached to the person. It does make you more attracted and want to spend more time with them. And it can get hard to break away from that if that person ends up not being the right person for you, So it's very difficult. I need to make sure I find the right guy for me who can be really strong for me. Who can be like, like the fact, like he's like, oh, you're all sweaty. It's kind of obvious I'm going to be sweating. Like, I don't care if I'm sweating. Who cares? It's a natural bodily function to sweat when you've been dancing a lot, and I like it. I mean, obviously it's a bit gross being in sweat, but I've got so much, I like being out and experiencing life. That's what I'm trying to say. I like being able to sweat in the sense I'm sweating for something. It's not like I've sat at home and been bored all night or done something that's not exerted some sweat. And he goes to the gym, so he should understand about sweat. It's like you go to a gym, you get sweaty because you're releasing calories and minerals and stuff into the air, and it's like if you go to the gym and you get sweaty, then you should already know that of course it's a natural thing. And what's really good is if you get a nice guy who literally wipe your sweat away or still kiss you with sweat. He had sweaty forehead, I still kissed him with that, because it's like, to me, it's natural. It's just a natural thing, and you're going to get sweaty in the summer. And if you can't even be yourself around a guy, sweating everything, then it's not going to work. Do you know what I mean? It's like a guy either accepts me for who I am, or he doesn't bother, and I won't bother. Do you know what I mean? So that's the way it is, really. But, so as a hyper romantic and hyper kisser, when I kiss guys, like, I want more kissing and more kissing and more kissing. Whereas the guys wanting more sexual feelings, more sexual release, if you like. And that's really why he's up close and kissing me, if you know what I mean. Whereas with me, I'm just like thinking, I want mouth action, I want the kissing, I want the feeling of his tongue inside my mouth. I like that feeling. I know some people will be grossed out by this, and it's nice to be close to a guy I'm aesthetically attracted to. I like it. It makes me feel good. And I like the fact that he made the first move with me. That was amazing. That he held my hand, he held me close and started kissing me in front of his friends. So I liked all that about him. That was really good. And I like it when a guy does that and doesn't care what people think. That's really turning on in an asexual way for me, when a guy does kissing and holding hands and stuff like that, and he doesn't give a shit what other people think of him, and he's happy to do that in front of his friends. Like, that to me is very, very sexy and hot, because it's like, oh, I don't care what people think, I'm just doing this. So I would have liked him to have been as strong as that outside of the clubbing situation. And it's a great test, really, to see how a guy behaves when he comes to that club. He's spitting as well, like on the floor, and I'm thinking, why are you spitting? And sometimes he went like this after he kissed me. So I'm thinking, have you got an actual problem with the kissing? Or are you just doing that because it's sweat or what? So yeah, there are a few things that are issues like that I was noticing. But it's like, you know what I mean? It's like if I'm kissing, I don't care about stuff like that. I'm not interested. I don't think this guy smokes. He didn't taste like he smoked, but I didn't actually ask him. He didn't smell of smoke either. So, but I didn't ask him. He did ask me if I want to drink, but I said, no, I don't drink alcohol. He said he doesn't either, but clearly he does, because he wouldn't have been asking if he didn't. So yeah, he wasn't being completely honest with me, because he does like sex and he does like alcohol. So that was obvious to me. But I'm thinking he won't be able to keep up that pretense. Do you know what I mean? Like, if he carries on meeting me, he won't be able to like, he won't be able to keep up that falseness in that way, if you know what I mean. So yeah, like, I'm raw and real, and I need a guy who's raw and real. But overall, I had a really nice time with him. I got on well with him, and I was delighted that he was asking me a lot about asexuality, and he was still asking me out of the club. And it was nice that one of the things I really liked as well, he could have gone the other way home, but he decided to go down the same way as me, which I thought was really nice because I felt safe with him like that. He did ask me like a few times if I wanted to go back to his home, but I was like, no. And he's like, why not? I said, because you're a stranger, you're a guy I met, I don't know you, and I don't want sex, and I don't want to go to guys' home. So in the end, he did respect that. So, and asked me if there was anything else he could do for me, because not coming in, like, because I said no to his home. But I said about a kiss, but I'm thinking, you could have kissed me a lot more passionately than that, mate. I've had guys kissing me in the street really passionately, really passionately, which has been really nice. But, I'm still on Badoo, I'm still on Facebook dating, so I'm still going to be, like, looking to date other guys, because I don't know what's going to happen with this guy. I don't know what he wants from me. If he just wants to meet up for dating, or if he just... I don't think he wants to meet up as friends. As far as I know, it's a date, because he asked to see me again. I need to talk about kissing as well. But he said about dancing and going out together. So I'm guessing it's just dating he wants. I don't really know. But yeah, I think there'll be good company. But obviously, if he's going to start saying about the way I am, and he's got a problem with actually my personality, that's not going to work for me. Because I need to be around someone who cares, and even as a friend loves me for who I am, not someone who wants to change me. But I'm being very strong with him and telling him I'm not changing for any guy, including him. And he did say, I like that. So he's going to have to like that, isn't he? At the end of the day, a guy doesn't want a guy doesn't want a woman who's a pushover, because it's like, why would you want a woman who's a pushover? Do you know what I mean? Like, unless you're a weak guy. So weak guys like women who are pushovers. Weak guys like doormat women. But strong guys like a woman who knows her own mind, knows exactly what she wants, and doesn't put up with bullshit. So it'll be interesting to see where he's strong or weak. Now, what I mean by strong is strong as in mentally and emotionally, and has the capacity to be strong in front of his friends and stuff and not easily led. I don't mean physical strength, I mean mental strength. Do you know what I mean? Because guys, like I said, I've come across a lot of guys, and like, if you don't want to be seen in public with me kissing and cuddling, then I'm not interested to date you. I don't want a secret relationship and stuff like that. I'm not interested in it, I'm just simply not interested in it. It doesn't make me happy. And there are guys out there that will snog me in public. There are guys that snog me on the street. There are guys that snog me. Like I said, the last Pakistani guy I actually had a date with, it was so good because he was just kissing me. He was kissing me in the cinema. He was kissing me all down the street, in front of everyone. He didn't give a shit. And he was holding my hand all the time in the street. It was really nice. When we're eating, it was about the only time we didn't hold hands, which would have been nice. As a hyper romantic, I like even holding hands when I'm eating, like across the table. Sometimes, you have to have your hand free to put food in your mouth, but unless the other person feeds it to you. So as a romantic person, I quite like being fed sometimes. That sounds really weird, doesn't it? Like, a person spoons it in your mouth. I'm like, nice. But obviously I can feed myself. But from a romantic point of view, it's quite nice sometimes. So yeah, it felt really good to kiss a guy that I was really aesthetically attracted to. That's my type, and I was just so comfortable and enjoying the moment. I was thinking, this is really good. Like, it's nice on a night out to meet a guy who's exactly my aesthetic type, who chose to dance with me, who chose to hold my hand, chose to kiss me, chose to hold me tight, chose to take an interest in me, chose to talk to me and tell me a bit about himself, took an interest in me, which was really nice. And I was really pleased with all that about him. So hopefully if I meet up with him again, then I'll just have to keep setting him straight about the fact that this is the way I am, and I'm not going to change for anyone. Like, you either like me as I am or not at all. Do you know what I mean? So he's got to get used to that. And I like being loud. I'm not a meek, timid girl, am I? Do you know what I mean? I'm loud and proud, and I will always be that way. And I love that about myself. So I need to be around people, guys as well, who really love my personality. Thank God, she walks in a room and I know who she is. She's like the loudest person in the room and she's amazing. The right guy's going to love that about me, obviously. So yeah, but it was very interesting that one of the guys at the meetup.com, he was saying, oh, there's not really any people for your type and you're so specific. And then I happened to be a guy who's my type who was there, who this guy saw from afar, if you know what I mean, on the dance floor, because, yeah. But it was really good. I would have liked to have done some more dancing, I think, because I do love dancing, but obviously I prefer... That's interesting. I was going to say I prefer kissing to dancing. So if I meet a guy and I get to kiss him a lot, then I do like to spend a substantial amount of time doing that. But I do like dancing as well, because dancing releases energy, makes me feel so good. And I like the fact as well, another good thing about this guy is I went to the toilet and I came back and he was still stood by himself, like just like waiting for me. He wasn't dancing with any other women. That was a really plus thing with this guy. Like, he was still there where he said he'd be, waiting for me, and he wasn't dancing with another woman. It was quite quiet by that point, but I was glad that he did that. I was glad he wasn't the type of guy that was just into dancing with any woman, and that he was just like, you know, as soon as I went to the toilet, he would be off with someone else. I really liked that about him. I thought that was really nice, that he waited for me and that he was pleased to see me. And the majority of the time on the dance floor, he was holding my hand. And even when we're dancing together, even if it was like a part of it, he was still holding my hand. And I really liked that. He did say to me, though, aren't you tired? And I'm like, no, he was tired. He's 22. I told you I've got a lot more energy than most of these guys. It's like, you know what I mean? And also when I kiss, like if I ever get into a relationship with a guy and I kiss, I mean I kiss a lot. It's like a full body workout. And like you can work up a sweat from that as well, you know? But people don't realise like sweating is like releasing calories and it's good for you. So yeah, I had a nice night. I really appreciate him asking about asexuality. He wasn't my aesthetic type. There was a few things I was disappointed with. But hopefully if he gets to know me over time, he'll either accept the way I am and love me for it, in the sense of adore me, being that type of person. Or if he decides he doesn't like that type of person, I'm not going to be the right girl for him to hang out with. Because I'm loud, proud and bubbly and I love being that way. I absolutely love being that way. I do not like being a quiet, shy girl. I was quite a shy girl years ago. I didn't like that about myself at all. It wasn't good for me. So yeah, I really should go in the shower now because I've been sat here in sweat for quite a while. But it's so good to be out. It's so good to go clubbing. It's so good to go dancing. It's so good to kiss a guy. It made me laugh when he was asking me, so what do you think of my face? And I'm like, actually, it's a face I'm most attracted to as an asexual person. And it's like, I'm, you know, like you're my exact type. His eyes did light up when I said you're my exact type aesthetically. But you know, like I would require a lot more kissing outside club type stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like not just kissing the club, because you know, and I don't like it when a guy doesn't hold my hand in public. It's like, are you going to be romantic with me or not? If you're going to be romantic, carry on the romance, you know, carry on holding my hand in public, carry on having physical contact with me, because even though I'm asexual, I'm essential. So one of the things I experience is sensual attraction, which actually I left out when I was talking to someone else about asexuality tonight. And what I mean by sensual is I do actually like to touch a guy, not below the waist, but I mean, I like to stroke his hair and his chest. I asked the guy if he's happy with me to touch his chest. He's like, yeah, you can do whatever you want with me. Touch me anyway. I love it when a guy says that. I really love it, even though I'm sex repulsed. And I don't want a guy's hands all over me. I love it when a guy says you can touch me wherever you want. Because for me, that gives me free reign to do what the hell I like. And I'm very sensual, so I do actually love touching the guy's back and ears and nose and face and chest. And shoulder, he goes, oh, I go to the gym. I go, yeah, I can tell. He didn't know that I'm not really into musty guys. But when later on he was asking me, like, so what do you like British women like in terms of guys? Like, do they like tall guys, like big guys? And I was thinking, what does it matter? I don't give a fucking shit what British women like. I only care what I like. He should only be interested in what I like, not what about other women. Do you know what I mean? If he's into me. So, which he clearly was on the dance floor. So anyway, I will see what happens with this guy. He did subscribe to my channel. He did friend request me on Facebook, actually, because I got him to follow me on, well, he was on about, oh, you're on Facebook, so he said type in your Facebook, I did, so I did, and then I clicked follow, and then I'm like, oh, do you want to friend request me? So he did send me a friend request, so I've probably got it on my phone, I haven't checked it yet, so if he's on my phone, then I'll accept him as a friend on my phone, because I think it's important he knows what I do, and knows about me, you know what I mean, especially if we do end up seeing more of each other. So he'd probably be quite a nice person to hang out with, but I just need to have a guy that I can be myself with, not a guy who's so used to women in his country being a certain way, and I'm not that way. So he needs to understand that from the off that I'm never going to be that type of girl. Do you know what I mean? So we'll have to see how things go, because in terms of an actual relationship, he wouldn't be suitable as he is now for that. I'm not even sure he's thinking that way, probably not. He's probably just thinking about hanging out and dating and stuff like that, I don't know. Kissing. But I'm going to be still looking for a guy for a relationship, because that's what I ultimately want. And you know what I mean? If the right guy comes along for a relationship, then obviously I won't be able to meet up this guy and kiss him. I can still meet up with him as a friend, but I have to see how it goes. So yeah. But anyway, I had a really nice time. I think I look really pretty. I like my makeup. It's like sparkly, and I love my hair, and I love my skin, and it's so good to get out. Like, I've been so stressed recently. I've got psoriasis growing up my leg, and I've got a doctor's appointment on Monday, but I'm so happy to be going out because it relieves a lot of stress. And he did actually say he's been busy like doing exams and stuff, and so he came out to like de-stress. So instead of distress, de-stress. And so I'm like, well, I'm out for that reason too, really, because I've been ill for like 6 weeks with a respiratory infection. I've been doing a lot of work. So, but he seemed really pleased and proud of the work I was doing. So I really liked that about him as well. So, you know, there's lots of nice things about him, but obviously, clearly, he wasn't telling the truth about the fact he didn't like sex. Because when I was kissing him, I said, "You're a very sexual guy. You like a lot of sex, I can tell." As far as I know, he hasn't had sex yet, but as far as I know, that's what he was saying, but I don't know if that's true. Do you know what I mean? He's like, I'm only 22, but, you know, it probably is true in the sense he's Pakistani, and a lot of guys in Pakistan, I think he's only been in the UK for a year, and a lot of guys from Pakistan, they tend not to have sex, but obviously if they meet women in clubs, which I presume he's met other women before in clubs, and they do usually end up going back to their place to have sex. And he was asking me that. So that would indicate to me that he's maybe done that before. He's asked women back to his place before for sex, because obviously he was doing that with me. And it's kind of like, you know what you're doing. You know how to hold my hand. You know how to kiss me. You know how to draw me close to you. You know the procedure, as it were, which is like, you know, kissing, holding each other close, dancing together physically close, kissing a lot. And then when you've done quite a bit of that, then you're asking a woman back to your place, which usually means sex. And a guy who knows how to do all that stuff is usually experienced, usually, because a guy who's inexperienced wouldn't know the protocol, wouldn't know the right way of doing things in that order, if you know what I mean. So either he's been watching loads of movies, or he's used to doing that a lot. And I'm assuming that other women have said yes to him. I'm assuming. So I find it very hard to believe he's not had sex yet. But I do know there's quite a lot of guys who are Indian Pakistani who haven't had sex in their 20s. Like, sometimes like when they're 24, 25. Some of them haven't even kissed a girl, but he clearly is used to kissing from what I could tell as well. He seems to be experienced in that type of thing. He seemed to know exactly the thing to do. Like you know, you kiss, you get close, you spend some time getting a woman to feel a certain way about you, and then that leads on to asking her back to your place, and then you get her phone number, and then you ask to see her again. This is all like standard romantic dating procedure, if you know what I mean. So he knew what he was doing, which in a way is good, because you don't want a guy who doesn't know what the F he's doing. You want someone a bit experienced. But then when he's saying, I've never had sex before, it's like, well, really? You seem the type of guy that probably has had it before, or I don't understand why you wouldn't, but he's been in this country for a year. So unless just the opportunity never came along, I don't know, but I would find that hard to believe. But he was dancing with his friend tonight, but as soon as I went near him, that was it. He just stopped dancing with his friend and started dancing with me. I was looking at his friend quite a bit because I was thinking, I feel sorry that his friend's left out, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so it's an interesting night. But I would say he's very experienced at that type of thing. So I wouldn't surprise me if he's had sex before. But then it would have been a shame if he has, because he would be lying to me, you know. And it's like, why lie to me? Why not just? And also, he did lie in the sense that he told me he didn't like sex. It's obvious to me that he liked sex. Just because he hasn't had sex yet, if that's true, doesn't mean to say he doesn't like it. He clearly likes it. And if I'd have wanted sex, I'm sure he would have done that with me this evening, tonight. I'm sure he would have done that. I was sure he would have been well up for that, you know. And if I was having sex, which I'm really not interested, then I would prefer it, obviously, with the younger foreign guy, because that's who I'm aesthetically attracted to. But I don't want sex with him. I don't want sex with any guy, you know. And I would not want sex out of a relationship anyway. The only time I ever had sex in the past was when I was in a serious committed relationship with a guy. Do you know what I mean? I was like in a proper relationship, and seeing the guy regularly and stuff like that, you know. So I don't ever agree personally with having sex outside of a relationship. I understand people do it, you know, and they might like that, and that's fine, but I'm personally not into that, you know. And for me, I was trying to explain to you earlier, for me, kissing is my intimacy. So if I was in a relationship, serious relationship, I'd be kissing a lot. That's my ideal scenario. So it's very hard that I'm already having that quite a big level of intimacy with a guy in a club that I don't know, which could lead to attachment. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of hard. I find that as a really hard thing as a hyper romantic hyper kisser, is the fact that I'm doing a lot of the kissing, which is very intimate. I would be actually doing a relationship outside of a relationship, which is better in a relationship, really. But because I do need kissing, and I can't see me being in a relationship for a very long time, then it's kind of important for me to get my kissing needs met. And because I love kissing like a favourite hobby, when I'm not kissing for quite a while, it can feel a bit like, oh, I really want to kiss right now, you know? So it's nice if I have someone to kiss. But it would be even better if it was actually a serious committed relationship and I'm wanting to kiss them all the time. But then I need to find the right guy, the guy who loves kissing as much as I do. The guy's like, oh, just give me your lips, you know what I mean? But obviously they've got to be interested in having intelligent conversations as well with me and learning from each other. It's no good having a guy that's just into kissing and physical stuff and not interested in me as a person. So I did like the fact he was interested in me as a person. He was praising me for the work I do. He looked really like, wow, with all the stuff I do. And I really liked about him. It's very positive vibes in that way. I wish he'd given me positive vibes more in the sweating sense and in the loudness sense. That would have been much better as well. But he's probably not used to someone like me, because he's probably used to timid women who do what they're told or something. And it's like, yeah, I'm not that type of person. Like, if I want to do something that guy wants me to do, then I will. But because he did want me to put my arms around his neck quite a bit, which I was quite happy to do the majority of the time, because I do like doing that. So yeah, a very interesting night. I'm so glad that I went. I'm so glad that I got out of my flat. I'm so glad I did something different that I haven't done for a while. It was a beautiful night, really. Well, because of this guy, really made it special in the end. You know, like, I really like the fact that a girl was dancing with me, calling me a legend because she loved my dancing. She was copying me, and it was really good fun, actually. And I did like the fact of being out with the meetup group, you know, talking to people who I hadn't seen for quite some time. And I like the fact they went to a different place and they didn't go to like the place with the band, because it gets a bit boring. It's a bit old, but even the ship's a bit old for me. But some of them, there was one song, Dirty Bit, you know, like I've Had the Time of My Life, Dirty Bit by Black Eyed Peas. That was really good. I was jumping up and down to that in the ship. But the club was the best thing for me. And the fact that the guy, out of all the guys on the dance floor, the guy I was really super attracted to was the one who was attracted to me as well. That is amazing and magical when that happens. It's like, yeah, I've got to be with he's not mine, but I was just thinking for a night he was mine. I got to be with my younger foreign guy and snog him. It's really good. You know, mine for that time. He's not mine because I'm single, he's single, but just for that time, it's like, it feels so good. It's like, yeah, I got my younger foreign guy that I'm really aesthetically attracted to, really romantically attracted to, and want to kiss a lot. And that feeling is like beautiful. I love like stroking his hair. I think he loves that. I hope he does. And it's nice holding the person close, you know. So yeah, um, it's a beautiful thing, you know. I just hope one day I find the right guy for an actual relationship with me, who loves all that type of thing as much as I do, but even loads of it in public as well, like anywhere and everywhere, you know. I know the Pakistani guy I last had an actual date with through Facebook dating. I know he said he'd never felt as loved by anyone as he did by me, which to me, and to my mind, it's like, well, why would you even want to date anyone else or be in a relationship with anyone else when you've experienced the ultimate feeling of being loved by someone? Like, why would you want to accept any less than that? Why would you want to find a different girl who might not even give you that feeling ever again? I'm not saying he's not going to get that feeling ever again, but it might not happen for him, you know. But in the end, he didn't want to be seen in public with an asexual girl. It's probably what his parents and family would think. This is the Pakistani guy I had a date with on Facebook dating. But to me, it's like, are you crazy? You want to lower your standards to be with someone or date someone who doesn't care about you as much, who doesn't give you that loving feeling as much. You'd rather like leave my life and do that and have less for yourself? How is that valuing your worth? How is that valuing your self-worth? It's not. Do you know what I mean? So these guys are crazy. It's like, you want to accept less? Carry on in your life. Go and accept less. But if you don't find a girl who gives you that feeling as much as I did, you're going to be forever thinking in your life, like, why wasn't I with that girl? Like, why didn't I stay with her? Like, that girl was like someone I really felt loved by, and now I can't get that feeling with anyone else. There's going to be something missing there always, you know. But anyway, he's not my problem, that guy, anymore. So, but I want to find a nice guy for me. But I am more attracted to foreign guys than any other type of guys. I like younger foreign guys in their 20s, and it's just natural for me to be around them and to be physically close to the right ones or right one. You know what I mean? It's just so natural. Whereas with British guys, I'm not that attracted to them these days. I do talk to British guys, but I'm like thinking, Sandra, you really want a foreign guy? You really want to be with a foreign guy? It's a different feeling. I can't describe it. It's like more magical and more romantic and more intense, if you like, in a good way, and more beautiful and more right. I feel like I'm meant to be with a foreign guy. It's familiar territory, and it's like I'm meant to be with one. But I need to find one that loves my personality as much as I love my personality, and who loves kissing as much as I do, and loves kissing in public as much as I do, and is proud to be seen on social media with me, and is proud to be kissing me and holding my hand in public, and who loves the fact I'm different and talkative and bubbly and all that, you know. Obviously, it's the first time he's met me, so people do have to get used to each other. Some people who are not used to loud women, maybe not used to me, but one of my friends, when he very first met me in a social situation, he wasn't used to someone with my personality. I don't think he was so keen on it. Now he's the exact opposite. He really loves my personality, and he's always praising my looks and personality and really nice to me. So, you know, people can change their mind, but it's a shame this guy said to me that he doesn't like sex. Because I'm thinking, clearly you like sex. Obviously you like sex. It's a shame he does like sex, and it's a shame he lies that he doesn't like it. But yeah, but you know, it's like, I need to find the right guy for me, you know, and I guess this guy's probably not going to be a relationship material type of guy for me, as he is, no. But you know, he probably isn't even thinking that way. But because obviously I've been intimate with him, and he has been kissing me, has been asking me questions about myself, and he doesn't want to see me again, then that ends up putting me and him into a dating scenario, you know. And usually people date, well, some people date just because they just want to date these days. They don't want it to lead anywhere. And other people date with a view to possibly having a relationship. So I don't know what his mind is. I don't know what he's thinking. Probably just dating, I'm guessing. Kissing and chatting, I'm guessing. But, you know, I'll see how that goes. Because I want a guy who's proud to be with me. I want a guy who will hold my hand in public, kiss me in public. I want a guy who'll love me for who I am. So I'm still on a mission to find that type of guy. And yeah, I'm still on Facebook dating and Badoo. I speak to a lot of foreign guys on Facebook dating, but usually they aren't the right guys for me. And they don't take a genuine interest in me. Like, this guy actually seems like he's interested in me as a person, and he likes my personality in the sense of the work I do for asexuals, the fact that I'm studying, writing, YouTubing. And he was asking me, he's like, is it like, do you work for the government, like creating your videos? I'm like, no, I just create them because I want to create them, help asexuals. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, so anyway, I'm excited. I'm quite high. It's like gone 3:30 in the morning, and I'm still quite hyper and high off the kissing. So with me, if I ever get into a relationship and I'm kissing, for example, on a bed, like, I can be high for ages off the kissing, because obviously it releases dopamine and it releases serotonin, oxytocin, I think it is as well. So dopamine's, you know, these like the love chemical, and when it releases all their chemicals, it puts you like on a natural high. It's like on a natural drug. And so I'm a natural high. He'll be going to sleep. He told me, he's like, oh, I'm just, because I'm not going back to his place, so I'm just going to bed and going to sleep. You know, so that's what he's doing. Whereas I'm still lively and energetic. Usually, see, I end up being too lively and energetic for guys in the early 20s to mid 20s. Is a guy age group I like, but it's more like they're the older one and I'm the younger one, because it's like, I'm just like, aren't you tired? It's like, no. Like, I'm not tired. Well, I'm a little bit tired. My head's like a little bit tired, but I'm not. I'm actually quite awake, if you know what I mean. So anyway, I'm really excited. As a hyper romantic and hyper kisser, I feel very excited, very elated right now. Feeling like I'm stuck on the ceiling almost. Really high off kissing, really high off romantic aesthetic attraction. Really high. So that's what it feels like to me. And it feels a mixture of like, I really like this guy. I find him very aesthetically attractive to me, but obviously some disappointments and some really good stuff about him. So yeah, I just have to see how it goes, and I did enjoy some really special moments with him, and it was really nice that way. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna love you and leave you for now. I hope you like this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up. I hope you found it insightful in some way. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Lots of love to you. I'll see you soon next video live stream. Take care. Lots of love. Bye bye.